Hello everyone, and welcome back to the CompTIA A+ 1101 review questions. This video will focus on Chapter 7, and Chapter 7 focuses on wireless and SOHO networks. As I stated in previous videos, make sure to pause in between the questions to see which answer you think is the correct one. And yes, let's get into this video. Question number 1. Which of the following wireless IEEE standards operate on the 2.4 GHz radio frequency and are directly compatible with each other? Choose 2. A. 802.11a, B. 802.11b, C. 802.11ac, and D. 802.11g. 802.11b and 802.11g. So both 802.11b and 802.11g operate in the 2.4, and 802.11a and 802.11ac operate in the 5 GHz range. Question number 2. What is the primary function of the SSID? A. To secure communication between a web server and a browser. B. To secure communication between a server and a remote host. C. To serve as a parameter used to identify a network and configure a wireless connection. D. To serve as a type of password used to secure a wireless connection. The answer here is C. To serve as a parameter used to identify a network and configure a wireless connection. So an SSID stands for Service Set Identifier. Is the unique name given to the wireless network. Question number 3. Which of the following are features that allow 802.11ac to achieve higher data throughput? Choose 2. A. MIMO, B. beamforming, C. channel bonding, D. code division multiplexing. The answers here are A and C, MIMO and channel bonding. So the two technologies that 802.11ac employs to achieve high throughput are channel bonding and MIMO. Channel bonding is the combination of multiple smaller channels into one larger channel for greater bandwidth. MIMO is enhanced over 802.11n to allow for multiple inputs and outputs. Number 4. Which of the following is the most secure wireless encryption standard for 802.11 networks? A. WEP, B. WPA, C. WPA2, D. Safer Plus. The answer here is C, WPA2. So WEP was the original encryption standard developed for Wi-Fi networks, but it is easily hacked. WPA is an upgrade, but WPA2 is more secure and incorporates the entire 802.11i standard. Question number 5. You are upgrading a wireless network from Wi-Fi 5 over to Wi-Fi 6. Which of the following statements is not correct? A. Users should get faster speeds. B. Network range will be similar. C. Fewer users will be able to use each access point. D. Devices may have lower power usage while connecting to the network. The answer here is C. Fewer users will be able to use each access point. So Wi-Fi 6 is faster than Wi-Fi 5, and the network range is similar. Most users should be able to access each access point, not fewer. Question number 6. You have just installed a wireless router on your home network. Which of the following should you do to make it highly secure? Choose all that apply. A. Change the default administrator name and password. B. Change the SSID. C. Enable WEP. D. Configure it to channel 11. The answers here are A and B. Change the default administrator name and password and change the SSID. So you should always change the default administrator name and password as well as the default SSID when installing a new wireless router. Number 7. You are setting up a small office network for a client. Which network service would you recommend to provide the best speed? A. DSL. B. Cable. C. Satellite. D. Fiber. The answer is D. Fiber. So, of the options listed, fiber provides the best speed. DSL and cable provide similar speeds but can't match fiber. Satellite is the slowest of the options listed. Question number 8. Which service allows users with private IP addresses to access the internet using a public IP address? A. DHCP. B. DNS. C. DLS. D. NAT. So the answer here is D. NAT. NAT translates to Network Address Translation. It allows users to use a private IP address and still access the internet with a public IP address. NAT is installed on a router and translates the private IP address into public address for the users to access the internet. DHCP assigns IP configuration information to clients. DNS resolves hostnames to IP address. DSL is a type of broadband internet access. Number 9. You are installing a single 802.11g wireless network. The office space is large enough that you need 3 WAPs, wireless access points. What channels should you configure the wireless access points on to avoid communication issues? A. 2, 5, and 7. B. 1, 8, and 14. C. 1, 6, and 11. D. 3, 6, and 9. The answer here is C. 1, 6, and 11. There are 14 communication channels in the 2.4 GHz range, but only the first 11 are configurable. The 3 non-overlapping channels are 1, 6, and 11. You are setting up, question number 10. You are setting up a wireless network. Which wireless standards would you give the users over 40 megabits per second throughput? Choose all that apply. A. 802.11ac. B. 802.11b. C. 802.11g. D. 802.11n. The answer here are A, C, and D. 802.11ac, 802.11g, and 802.11n. Question 11. You have been asked to configure a network for a small office. The wireless router is installed, and now you need to connect the client computers. What do you enter on the client computers to connect to the router? A. The administrator password. B. The security passphrase. C. The client's MAC address. D. The default router password. The security passphrase. So to join the network, client computers need to find the SSID, ensure that the security settings are correct to match the router, and enter the security passphrase. Question number 12. Which of the following technologies can operate in the 125 kHz to 134 kHz range? A. Bluetooth, B. RFID, C. NFC, D. LTE. The answer here is B. RFID. Radio frequency identification, which is RFID, can operate in the three frequency bands 125 to 134, 13.56 MHz or 856 MHz to 960 MHz. Bluetooth is 2.4 GHz, NFC is 13.56 MHz, and LTE is between 600 MHz and 6 GHz. Question number 13. Due to the channel interference, you are upgrading a wireless network from Wi-Fi 5 to Wi-Fi 6. Which features of Wi-Fi 6 reduce channel interference? A. OFDMA, B. BSS coloring, C. MU-MIMO, D. DFS. The answer here is BSS coloring. So the feature of Wi-Fi 6 that reduces channel interference is basic service set coloring, which adds a field to a wireless frame that distinguishes it from others. Which of the following security standards was the first to introduce a dynamic 128-bit per packet security key? The answer here is B. TKIP. So WEP could use 64 or 128 security key, but it was a static key. The TKIP introduced a dynamic per packet key. AES and CCMP came after TKIP. Question number 15. You are running an 802.11g wireless router in mixed mode. You have three 802.11g wireless NICs using the router. A new user connects using 802.11b wireless NIC. What will happen? A. The user with 802.11b will access the network at 11 megabits per second, while the user with 802.11g will access the network at 54 megabits per second. B. The user with 802.11b will not be able to communicate on the network. C. The user with 802.11b will access the network at 11 megabits per second. The users with 802.11g will access the network at 54 megabits per second unless they're communicating with the 802.11b device, which will be at 11 megabits per second. D. All users will access the network at 11 megabits per second. The answer here is D. All users will access the network at 11 megabits per second. So the good news is that 802.11g is backwards compatible with 802.11b. The bad news is that if you run in a mixed environment, all devices that communicate with the WAP or router will be forced to slow down to accommodate the older technology. Question number 16. When enabled, which feature of wireless router allows only specified computers to access the network? A. Port forwarding, B. WPS, C. SSID, D. MAC filtering. The answer here is D. MAC filtering. So MAC filtering is a security option that can specify the only computers with specific MAC addresses. Port forwarding is a feature of firewalls. WPS is an easy setup mechanism for wireless networks. SSID is the wireless network name. Question number 17. A wireless operates a firewall. Question number 17. A firewall operates by using a set of rules known as what? A. SLA. B. ACL. C. NAT. D. API-PA. So the answer here is B. ACL. The set of rules for access on a firewall is called an access control list, ACL. And SLA is an agreement on service level for QoS. Question number 18. You have set up a wireless router on your network and configured it to use AES. What configuration option do you need to choose on the client computers? A. WEP. B. WPA. C. WPA2. D. TKIP. The answer here is WPA2. If your router is using AES, the client needs to use WPA2. TKIP is a protocol utilized by WPA, and WEP is the weakest of the encryption options. Number 19. Besides 802.11 standards, which wireless communication methods may also work in the 2.4 GHz range? Choose all that apply. The answers here are A. Bluetooth, C. Long-range fixed wireless. So Bluetooth also operates in the 2.4 GHz range, and long-range fixed wireless can if it uses unlicensed frequency. Satellite uses satellite waves. 5G cellular MMM wave is between 24 GHz and 86 GHz, and NFC uses 13.56 MHz. Question number 20. You are configuring a SOHO client to use TCP/IP. Which parameter is needed to tell the client where to communicate to get on the internet? A. Static address. B. Dynamic address. C. API-PA. D. Gateway. So the answer here is D. Gateway. The gateway, also known as default gateway, is the address to the router to make a client to the next network. To take the client to the next network. Gateways can be configured with a static assignment or dynamically through a DHCP server. API-PA will automatically configure a client with IP address information if it sets to get its configuration from a DHCP server, but none is available. API-PA configured clients can't get on the internet. Alright guys, this has been chapter 7, which focused on wireless and SOHO networks. I appreciate your time if you made it through this video. Thank you for watching.